Mike Benz is a former State Department official and an expert on America's intelligence state, and he joins us now right off the top here to discuss what we could learn when these files inevitably come down. We think maybe in the next day or two. And Mike, it's good to see you tonight. Thanks for coming on. It's so interesting because there's been so much fascination with these assassinations for a long time. A lot of people wonder if we're going to learn that our government was perhaps involved in these killings. What do you think will be revealed when this comes out?
Well, I have to note that while this is hugely exciting, that this is a week one executive order that includes not just JFK, but also RFK and MLK. I do need to ring the alarm, I feel, that in actually reviewing the language of the executive order, it requires that within 15 days of the order, the Director of National Intelligence has to present a plan to the President for declassification. Now, the current acting Director of National Intelligence, Stacey Dixon, is someone who is diametrically opposed to President Trump's agenda, someone who has made DEI the #2 priority of the office of the Director of National Intelligence. And given that that Trump's pick for the head of ODNI, Tulsi Gabbard, is likely to experience significant political headwinds during the Senate confirmation process and is highly unlikely to be approved within 15 days, the plan for declassifying the JFK documents, according to this executive order, will come directly from Trump's primary political enemy within the ODNI. So this looks like it's set up for failure.
It's set up for failure, but could he just do it again? I mean, would that be an option? I mean, Tulsi, I think is going to get in. If they think Hegseth is getting in, which it's looking like tonight, I believe Tulsi will as well, right?
Well, it's possible. I think with the Pete Hegseth issue, the concern is about approving a Trump loyalist. Yeah. I think with the Tulsi confirmation, there are other factors involved around the fundamental nature of U.S. foreign policy that is likely to allow Republican holdouts. We saw, for example, Lisa Murkowski just today say that she would not approve Hegseth. I would not be surprised if Susan Collins and a coterie of other Republican Senate folks.
Let's assume for a second that it does happen, because it seems like this is something Trump wants, and I understand your perspective there. Let's say that these files do come out. Trump's wording today seemed to indicate that he not only didn't like the fact that these have been hidden from the American public, he doesn't like the fact that they're redacted as well. So if Trump gets his way here, are we going to see unredacted files, and what would that reveal in your estimation?
Well, this gets the second part of the executive order, which is that after the 15-day period where the ODNI will present a plan, there's a 45-day review period. And the issue there is the folks doing the review, if it's the acting's ODNI, may simply decide that certain things cannot be published in that respect. And then also, there is not currently a declassification board created by a Trump executive order to extend what can be reviewed, because currently, the only files that comprise the JFK files are the ones that were hand-selected, 75,000 documents that were hand-selected by the Central Intelligence Agency, which many suspect may have had a hand in that. Certainly, that is what Bobby Kennedy believes. And so we need an independent review board, not just the documents that are currently set to be reviewed to be declassified.
You don't think our intel, you don't think our intel agencies are going to willingly let this out? Do you believe that the government had a hand in these assassinations? I think a lot of people do.
There is an open question as to whether or not they made it happen or knew it was going to happen and allowed it to happen. A sort of let it happen versus made it happen debate. The fact is if you read JFK and the Unspeakable, or any of the other literature that's been published since the declassifications of the 1990s, the Central Intelligence Agency was reading Lee Harvey Oswald's mail before it even got to him, because they had an in-process counterintelligence operation fingering him after his activities in Russia and Cuba, which means they knew everything that Lee Harvey Oswald was saying on the phone and receiving in the mail. It would literally come to the local CIA station house branch before it went to his own home residence. So there's a question of whether or not they allowed it to happen or failed to stop it, in which case you have a medium-sized scandal, or whether or not there was central coordination, in which case you have an international scandal.
Okay. Well, you're one of the best guys to talk about this, and I'm excited to see what potentially we could learn if these files do come out. I think if Trump gets some, headwinds here, he's going to probably figure it out if he really wants people to see this. Mike Benz, good to see you. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Likewise.